And she was right. 'Cause the beard filled out Abe's long, scrawny face with a wise, statesman-like look. Just in time for the Civil War, when America needed a leader who looked like he could carry the weight of the nation. But suddenly, tragedy struck. 'Cause while watching a play at Ford's Theater, Lincoln was shot and killed by John Wilkes Booth, making him the first president ever assassinated. Rest in peace, sir. But this opened the door to Andrew Johnson, the first president ever impeached, which is basically Congress saying, hey buddy, you broke the rules, big time. 'Cause after clashing with radical Republicans over how to rebuild the South, Johnson said, screw this, I'm gonna do what I want, and violated the Tenure of Office Act. So Republicans slapped him with high crimes and misdemeanors and hauled him into an impeachment trial. Still, Johnson narrowly escaped conviction by one vote. Man, you're one lucky dude. But after the craziness of Johnson, America elected a man with stability, Ulysses S. Grant, the first president to graduate from West Point, the United States Military Academy. And it paid off, 'cause it turned this quiet, unassuming guy into the bulldog who crushed the Confederacy. But Grant wasn't just a war hero. He had a soft spot for nature too, 'cause he was also the first president to create a national park, Yellowstone. At a time when America was laying railroad tracks and chopping down forests, Grant protected millions of acres. Thanks for looking out for us, big guy. And hey, since Grant was the first to save Yellowstone, you can be the first to save this channel by hitting that subscribe button. 'Cause I don't want you to disappear, like this next president, who started his presidency in the shadows. 'Cause Rutherford B. Hayes was the first commander-in-chief to take the oath in private. The election of 1876 was razor thin, and Hayes actually lost the popular vote, but squeaked out an electoral college win by just one elector. The country was furious, and people worried that violence might erupt at his inauguration. So the night before the ceremony, Hayes quietly slipped into the Red Room of the White House and took the oath with just a handful of witnesses. But speaking of a handful, James Garfield was the first ambidextrous president. He could write Latin with one hand and Greek with the other at the same time. Imagine trying to copy homework off of that kid. But this was just a glimpse into Garfield's absurd brainpower, because he was likely the smartest president in U.S. history. Meanwhile, Chester A. Arthur was the first president to enact federal immigration restrictions. In 1882, he signed the Chinese Exclusion Act, the first big law to slam the brakes on immigration. 'Cause out on the West Coast, workers complained that Chinese immigrants were undercutting wages and stealing jobs. So Arthur signed a 10-year ban that shut the door on them completely. And for the first time, the land of opportunity started putting up no entry signs. On the other hand, the White House should have put up a U-turn sign for this next president, because Grover Cleveland was the first